guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Book Fair Week Day 3 and I'm going to be reading Chapter 1 of Judged. Okay? Alright, Chapter 1. Cicely pressed her forehead to the door of the dressing room and let out a long sigh. Was there anything more depressing than trying on clothes because you couldn't fit into a damn thing in your closet? You okay? Carrie's voice was far too soft, her friend aware of her struggles. I just think this is stupid. I plan on losing this extra weight like now. Spending money I really don't have on clothes that I'm not going to be able to wear soon seems dumb. Cicely moved back and unzipped the pants that fit perfectly. Too bad they were 2 sizes bigger than what she wore back in New York. It had been 6 months since she, Lisa, and Carrie had left New York and moved to Bar Harbor, Maine. The need to break away from the big city and start a life had planned out well for both Carrie and Lisa, each of them in happy, healthy relationships. I'm the only one without a guy. Maybe if I was thinner? Definitely. Cicely, losing weight is a great plan, but you have to have something covering your pretty butt now, or you're gonna give all these old people a heart attack. Carrie let out a short laugh, and Cicely forced herself to chuckle as well. The community was more of a retirement local, but there were still plenty of people their age working and living around it. It wasn't about wanting someone to make her feel pretty or keep her company, but more about fitting in. Being the fifth wheel with her friends was getting old. She would start looking for love as soon as she got back into shape. No one deserved to be with someone who was obsessive about her size and most likely headed toward a heart attack any minute. She shuddered at the thought, pushing down the memories of her mother's death earlier that year. Did those pants fit? They were cute. Carrie's voice was helpful, leaving Cicely to feel like shiz that she hadn't told Carrie no to her coming. It was traumatizing enough to realize that she needed to step on the scale, seeing that she had gained more weight than she had convinced herself of. Having her best friend, her thin, beautiful best friend, standing on the other side of the door trying to coach her and encourage her was mortifying. Cicely took a slow breath and turned to look in the mirror as tears burned her gaze. I'm good. No, you're not. I can hear it. I just need a few minutes. I'll meet you up front. Cicely swallowed the thick knot that sat in her throat. Moving back to the small bench in the room, she sunk down on it and pressed her hands to her knees, trying to force herself to pull it together. It was just a few pounds. She would go for a jog that afternoon and start back on her meat and veggie diet at lunch. Owning the best bakery in the Bar Harbor didn't mean she had to look the part of a trustworthy chef. Maybe if she had decided to sell diet products or to bake pastries and treats without sugar or flour or oil. She rolled her eyes and slid her hands into her long dark hair, tugging a little in hopes of letting out a little bit of angst. How long had she watched her weight to make sure she didn't look like her mother's side of the family? They were Sislin, and her mother and older brother were far too heavy, their legs thin and middles portly. And she died because of it. You will too, fat ass. Cicely glanced up at herself in the mirror, flinching at the harshness of her words. Being the only one in the room when her mother suffered a massive heart attack had left a severe toll on her, and yet here she was, starting to look more and more like the woman she missed every day since her passing. Cicely angrily wiped her tears away and got up, tugging the pants off and leaving her back to the mirror. She didn't want to see herself without clothes covering most of her. It was mid-October, and she was so beyond grateful for fall's arrival. Not because of the cooler weather or of all the great events and holidays. It was simply a time where she could wear jeans and sweaters and cover herself up without looking ridiculous. Everyone would be joining her in the comfort of fall attire. Shorts and tank tops and bathing suits would be gone. She checked her face once before walking out of the dressing room, the puffiness around her chestnut gaze leaving it more obvious that she had wept in the small room and had far too many issues. She paused at the front by the counter as a thin older woman glanced up. Is this all for you, dear? Cicely kept her head down, making like she was trying to find her card in her purse. She was grateful that Carrie was near the front, moving through the racks. Her friend would know right away that she was struggling, and in the kindness would cause Cicely to lose the composure she tightly was grasping. Yes, thank you. I love this style. I'm so glad we have them in your size. I bet you look as cute as a button on them with them on. Cicely glanced up and forced herself to smile. They are great. It will be cash, please. Of course. The woman tilted her head as if studying Cicely. The dainty older woman pursed her lips as if trying to hold something between them before ringing her up and sending her on her way. Have them in my size? Did she mean to imply that the tent maker doesn't usually do this pattern? Carrie looked up as Cicely approached, and a concerned smile on her pretty face. She had gotten her hair cut a month ago, and it still looked impossibly beautiful with the style. It pulled her in at her narrow face, framing her and helping her to accentuate her button nose and brown eyes. Her blue blouse fit her snugly, but it was a good look for her, Carrie having been a roomer her whole life. Dating the junior high coach in town was quite perfect for her, and the two of them were beyond good for each other. You get the pants? Yep, Cicely nodded toward the door. I've had enough torture for the day. Let's go get a coffee and sit outside and enjoy this weather for a while. I'm completely down for that. Carrie reached out and pressed the door open. Lisa should be back in town tomorrow, right? Yeah, I'm not sure how she and Mark are affording flying back and forth between Maine and New York every other weekend. When is he graduating? Cicely reached up and pushed her hair behind her shoulder as the cool air of fall picked up around them. Crimson, burnt orange, and yellow leaves fluttered around their feet, the trees inside to see that time of year. The fall season was the whole reason for Lisa and Cicely picking Maine as their local for setting up shop and trying to start a new life. She glanced over at Carrie, grateful for the girl being with them as well. Carrie hadn't been part of the original plan for moving to Maine simply because she was engaged to be married to a guy who was born and would die in New York. Frank was a scoundrel and cheated on Carrie the night before the wedding. Cicely reached out and took her friend's hand, squeezing it and smiling at her as Carrie glanced over. Did you hear me? You lost in thought? Carrie squeezed back. Oh, I am. Did you tell me when Mark was graduating? Yeah, it's next May from what Mama told me. I swear Mark and I haven't spoken in a while. Just busy, I guess. I need to call my brother Johnny. It's been a few months since I've heard his voice too. That's just unacceptable. Life can be taken from you at any moment. Best to tell those you love them how much they mean at every moment you get. You're right. Cicely released Carrie's hand as they walked into the giant coffee shop. Carrie glanced over as sadness swept across her pretty features. Cicely's friends were empathetic to her situation with her mother, which helped and yet didn't. She needed closure but wasn't quite sure how to get it. The pumpkin spice coffee is finally back in season. I swear I want to get 10 of them just to make up for the rest of the year when they don't have it. Carrie smirked and moved toward the counter, glancing over her shoulder. My treat. No, you paid last time. Cicely moved up beside her, handing her card to the handsome young barista. I'll pay for both of us. Of course, ma'am. What can I get you? He glanced at Carrie and then back to Cicely, his gaze almost analyzing. He's disgusted by how fat you are. Hurry and order. Order something non-fat. Order it skinnier with no milk at all. Just get an espresso. No, you don't need anything. Get a water. She swallowed the hot burn of disgust mixed with extreme sadness. Carrie rolled her eyes at her before ordering, her friend not happy with not getting to pay. I'll have a medium pumpkin spice coffee with extra pumpkin spice and double whipped cream. Now we're talking. The guy smiled at Carrie, then back at Cicely. Do you want the same? He expects you to get the same because you're a fat girl. Of course you want the extra and doubles of everything. No, I'll take a glass of water, please. Cicely extended the card to him, the frown appearing on his face as a replica to Carrie's. No, she doesn't. She wants one of what I got. Carrie reached out and tugged the card back. No, I don't. Cicely glanced toward her friend, a warning on her face. She was rarely terse with anyone, least of all Carrie. They had been friends for the last 2 years, and Carrie was unbelievably loyal and kind. Cicely would rather slap a baby than hurt Carrie's feelings. Sis, we've been wanting one of these all year. What's the deal? Carrie tilted her head, confusion on her face. Cicely couldn't get into her issues in front of the handsome boy who seemed to be staring them down, waiting for some awkward cat fight that just wasn't going to happen. She's right. Cicely turned back to the guy. I just had a big breakfast. Can you just make me the normal one with low-fat milk and no whipped cream, please? You bet. It's better that way, but I'm happy. It's better the other way, but I'm happy too. Cicely cut him off, barking at him, which was far out of character for her. She felt like crap the minute she did it. Low-fat milk, no whipped cream. Absolutely. It'll be ready in a few minutes. He smiled and nodded toward the pickup counter after checking them out. Carrie reached out and brushed her fingers down Cicely's arms, and they moved to the counter. Hey, what's going on? Talk to me. Cicely glanced up and sucked her bottom lip into her mouth, pressing her teeth into it as tears filled her eyes again. She needed to get a hold of herself, but her weight was ruining her life, changing her personality, wrecking her sense of self-worth. After all these years of being careful and taking care of herself healthy, she watched her mother die from heart disease, and then she decides to follow her? A tear rolled down her face, and she glanced toward the door. Grab our drinks, and I'll meet you outside. She turned and walked out of the coffee shop, leaving Carrie with most likely more questions than Cicely felt up to answering. She just wanted to be alone. Okay, guys, so that's Judged, which is book 3 in the Second Chance Romance series. I'm going to leave the series link down below. Be sure to check it out. It's a really, really good series. If you want to find